Hi, I'm Laura Rose.
I'm Abby, and this is Beyond the Home Study.
We are two adopted moms navigating the real-life journey beyond paperwork and placement.
Thanks for being here. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beyond the Home Study podcast. This is where we have real conversations with foster and adoptive parents. I was listening to one of our episodes earlier, and I think I used to say at the intro, like, this is where we have conversations for foster and adoptive parents, and somewhere I changed it to with. I don't know. What do you like
With?
better? Yeah.
Wait, did you said
I
with?
just said
I
with.
thought you said
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I just
I
said
feel
with.
like you always say for.
I think maybe I
Well,
changed it.
guys,
I don't
it's-
know. Whatever it is, with or for.
It's
We're
sometimes
here.
with parents.
We're here
and
with
both
you.
for parents.
Yeah, we're here with you. We're here for you. I don't know. I think maybe I changed it one day when we were interviewing someone, but we're not interviewing anybody today. We're just hanging out here talking. So
It's just us, guys.
it's with you and for you. That's all I have to say.
With that in mind, let me tell you about what we're. Oh my gosh, we should just restart this whole episode. No, I'm kidding. Let me tell you what we're talking about today, guys. Because Abby and I are both in our comfy clothes and we clearly need to go to sleep. But anyway, we're talking about productivity, and we're going to talk about it in a couple of different ways because, as adoptive parents, we have come to realize that we have very strong need for productivity in our lives, but sometimes that can actually get in the way as well. And so we're going to kind of talk about it from both perspectives. So yeah, that's what you're going to get. It should be a fun time.
Yeah. I also just want to catch up a little bit and hear what you've been up to because you just got back from a trip. So do you want to give us a little update on that, or do you want to weave it in to the podcast?
Ooh. Well, I'll give you a couple little fun things that probably won't be
Okay.
able to weave in.
Okay.
We went on our first family trip with so it was my family, like me, my husband, our two kids, and then it was my mom, my sister and her two kids, my brother and his three kids, and my stepmom. And we all stayed in one giant house.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. And it was the first time we've ever done that. I know families do that all the time, but my family has never been able to all come together under one roof. And so it was great. Yeah, I'm tired, but it was great.
Mm-hmm. Where did you go?
We went to Sevierville, not Seaverville,
No.
Sevierville, Tennessee.
Nice.
Yeah, I learned. It's near Pigeon Forge,
Yes.
for those of you that don't know. Or like
So fun.
Gatlinburg.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was good, but mostly we just stayed in this ginormous house because you guys, this house was so cool. Apparently they made this community, and you can tell they're all cabins to be rented. Like that's the purpose. And it had 4 decks, and it had an indoor pool with a slide that you had to go up one flight of stairs, go down the slide into the pool that was 1 flight down.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you're
was really cool.
we
I
never need
didn't
to
go down the
leave.
slide. Yeah, well, so it was really great because it rained a lot while we were there,
yeah.
but it was no big deal because we had so much entertainment.
That's awesome. How fun.
Yeah, it was a cool rental.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So,
Was it
anyway.
was the slide covered? Was it a tube slide?
Yeah, it was an enclosed slide, which is why I didn't go down it. I get a little claustrophobic, but my
Yeah,
husband
I
did.
did too. Did your kids?
Actually, no, neither of my kids did.
Yeah, those are kind of
All the
scary.
other kids did. All but one other kid. My 2 kids and one other younger kid didn't. But yeah, all the older kids loved it.
That's so cool, though.
So
Yeah, we are we're gearing up to leave for a trip in about a week. And we're going to stay in a huge house out in the Rockies. So we're really excited. So the only
and you just did that too, didn't you? Though
we went.
Did
Well,
you
we
just
did
stay in
our
the big house with all the cousins.
We did our typical annual beach trip that is whoever can come, and it was just my kids that were there. Their cousins weren't there. And then this trip will be me and all my siblings, and my parents.
Okay.
and then,
You
like,
have
their
more than
spouses
one
and
family trip?
yeah, this summer we did. I know, it's
Wow,
crazy.
that's a lot.
I know, it's kinda crazy. I mean, since I don't work and I had the time and space, I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to the beach for as long as I can." And then Josh just joined us, like, for a few days. So, that one was,
Yeah.
like, more of a make it what you can, and this one is, like, dedicated, like, we are all there under one roof, here we go. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that does lead in well. Why don't you start us out with telling why we need productivity for our kids
Oh,
as you think
man.
about this trip that you're about to go on?
I know. I feel like my mind is kind of in, like, a million different places because, yes, we have the 2 different trips, and then we've had, like, lots of little things in between, like, we've had family come to see us, we've had friends coming, like, different times in the summer, we did a cabin trip, like, all these different things, so the lists on my phone are probably a good indication of, like, where my brain is at right now. So yeah, I think like the need for productivity is something that's easy for me to see. And I know that I'm not everyone. Like there are some people that their minds don't work like this and they have other ways of getting things done. For me, the need for like keeping lists, having a schedule, having a routine, all those things like keep me grounded in a way, like I instead of just having like all these fleeting thoughts that are like running around in my brain, I have a place to put them, like a system and like here's where I put the things that I need to do or the ideas or the whatever, all things. So like having systems like that in place helps to keep me more grounded. But ultimately like when we have it doesn't matter how these kids came to your family, whether they're adopted, they came in, they're with you through foster care, you had them biologically. Kids take a lot of figuring out and a lot of work and a lot of all the things, appointments.
Planning.
Yeah, appointments and planning for this and just like we talked about in recent episodes, getting ready for school, just all the different things. Like kids are very dynamic. However, they've come to you, they're all dynamic and they all have like so many different needs. We've got to find a way to keep it all straight. So, yeah, that's where I think it's probably not the best like definition of the need for productivity, but that's where my brain is running around right now.
Yeah, I just always think of like, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but, like, when you do foster care, at least in the state of Kentucky, your kids come with, like, a medical binder,
Mhm.
and they pass from, like, family to family if they're in multiple homes, and I think about, like, the parent that has, these binders. You've got you got their medical binder. I used to have like an additional binder for all my foster care documents. You've got like all of your, visitation things going on that you're trying to plan for if they're in foster care. Or even if they're already adopted, like a lot of our kids have extra therapy needs and special diets that we have to, like plan around. And that kind of thing, like, takes up a lot of mental space, and if you don't have systems in place and, ways that you can be productive, like, in terms of, like, checking those things off your list in a way that's, healthy and organized, like, you're gonna get lost in the
Mhm.
scuffle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's good, and, I mean, even as we were, like, prepping for this episode and kinda thinking through it, like, we can definitely share some of the things that have worked for our family or, like, some things that we do, like, I use the notes app on my phone and use the checklist feature to just do all the things, but there are, like, 1 zillion ideas and options out there if you if you're listening to this and you're like, "Okay, I just need to start somewhere." I just need to like whatever it is, like you can probably go find so many different things that would work specifically for you. So, this is not the episode where we give you like all the tips and tricks that have ever worked for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we actually have an episode maybe where we do that, I can't even remember.
Well, yeah, we were
But
we were talking about something with like when we talked about decision fatigue or
the mental load,
mental load,
I
mental
think.
load.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
I think we talk a lot about the, like, techniques.
yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, like, okay, so thinking about the needs and needing to be productive, um, like, some of the things that, like, go through my mind, especially with travel is, like so I think travel and school can be 2 really big, like, anxiety triggers for me when it comes to, like, how do I check off these lists because we're out of our norm.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing like, there's one thing of, like, okay, I need to be productive with taking care of my children in my home, or whatever else other needs I have, in my own home, but it's a whole 'nother ballgame when you're talking about, like, taking care of these extra needs outside of the home. So, like, for instance, we have a different trip that we are supposed to be going on next year for, a wedding, and it's a family member's wedding, and, it's out of the country.
Wow.
And that is really, like, anxiety producing for me because I always have in the back of my mind, like, I've talked before, my daughter has special needs when it comes to her diet, and I've always been like, "Okay, well, we're within 15 minutes of a grocery store, so it's fine." Like, if I forget something or, like, I don't have this thing, or, like, I'm like, "Amazon will deliver, it's fine." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But, like, I'm going to Mexico, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is she gonna eat?
Yeah.
Can I pack pancake mix in my suitcase?"
Yes, I'm sure you could.
But, like, I can't pack her specific yogurt, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I'm like, "How am I gonna get that through customs?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it's a big thing. I mean, it's even a big thing thinking about flying. Like, yes, you're still like in your whenever you get to your destination, like you're still if you're in the country, like you're still within however many minutes of Costco, Walmart, wherever you go. But thinking about like taking the things that our kids are comfortable with that if you're going on a road trip or like in an RV or whatever, you just like zoop, throw it in, like
Mhm.
throw the extra blankets, throw the extra pillows, throw the extra stuffies, like whatever. But then when you think about flying, you're like, okay, well, what makes sense to bring and how do I pack it and can I like vacuum, seal it, like all the different things, of like how to get it to fit. But that's where like okay, so here's one of like the systems in my mind is like I'm thinking about how many people we have, looking at like how many checked bags I have and then how many carry-ons I have and then what of those carry-on items can check for free because some airlines will let, you can check your stroller and you can check your car seats and whatever. So I'm like, okay, those things like don't have to account for. But like I had to literally make a list of like the number
Yeah.
of all the things, so then I can look at it and say like, okay, this number of this. It kind of reminds me of like when I think when I came to Louisville when we came to Louisville for our first trip with the girls. So they were like, let's see, 7 months old, 8 months old, something like that. And I had to like calculate the number of ounces of milk that I would need because I was bringing some frozen breast milk from here. And then I had a friend who had found some when I was there. So like it's a road trip, but like again, like very specific, like I could
Huh?
just go and buy formula at the store, but like they're not used to that. They haven't had that. How's it going to go? Are we going to be up all night with some, like, whatever, all the different things. Like it's just wild. But if you don't have like some sort of system where you can write it all down and just get it like out of your brain and onto a piece of paper or onto an app on your phone, yeah, it's
Yeah.
craziness in
Well, and
there.
I'm always thinking about too, like, it's like what goes through my mind on a given day is like, are we getting our sensory needs met? Like that's like a
Mm-hmm.
huge thing in my brain. And so I'm thinking about that whether we're at home or whether we're on vacation. I'm like, okay, are we going to be able to go outside? Is there any place to like go on a walk? Okay, are there swings? Can we swing? Like Okay, great, cool. There's a pool. That's great. The slide. My kids aren't going to go down it. That's fine. But there's a pool. Okay, well,
Right.
they will only swim with their own noodles. So, can we bring you know what I mean? And then yeah, like so I'm like making this checklist and I use notes too. I don't like notes as much because they're so easily deleted.
I know, it does make me a little nervous. If I lose
So
some of these
I
notes, I'm, like, completely
You're
lost.
screwed.
I
Yeah,
know.
I know, and I think I've done it once and I'm, like, scarred. So I don't do them in notes very often. I do them in Google Docs a lot,
Yeah, a little bit
so
more
that way,
reliable.
like well, and that way I could, like, access it on a different device too.
Yeah.
So, like, if I were like, "Oh, no, I left my phone. Let me log in on someone else's," or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's so funny.
But yeah, but I am thinking through that. I'm like, "Okay, like, are we gonna be able to get our sensory needs met? Here's my
Mhm.
list, like, of activities that we can do." Yeah, and I like to keep my activities loose too, which, oh my gosh, it drove my family crazy, I think. Okay, so let me tell you this, little side note. I like to have a list of activities that could happen
Mhm.
and have a loose agenda. Okay. I don't like to have a strict agenda because I like to read my children's behavior and their needs and make decisions based on that.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, they didn't sleep well the night before, or I can't get them to eat breakfast. I'm not going to take them, on a 45-minute drive to this thing if they didn't eat breakfast. I'm gonna wait until they eat. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I just like to keep it loose, and I think it was, like, driving my family insane because 'cause they're like, "What are we doing today? What are we doing tomorrow? What's the plan?" And I'm like, "Do what you need to do for your family. I don't know. You got a car."
Yeah, right. So did everybody do everything together on your trip, or did you have, like, pockets that, like, would go do this thing in Pigeon Forge and do that thing over there?
Well, I had told them, I was like, the first day we're getting settled. The second day is going to be a day at the house. The next day is going to be a day on a boat. And then the last day is going to be like adventure, like just go check out Pigeon Forge, which I don't love Pigeon Forge, but we're there. So,
Yeah.
whatever. Well, then my brother is like, I'm going to rent a boat for the whole weekend. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then like, we're ready to go to Pigeon Forge, and he's like, "Wait, I gotta go out on the boat before I take it back. I'll meet you later." And then, like, went somewhere else, and I truly didn't care. It doesn't bother me, like, I wanted people to be able to have the freedom to, like, do their own thing
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, do what you need to do, and I knew that would happen, which is partly why I wanted to keep it so loose, but I think my sister was, like, dying inside.
Yeah, yeah. She needed, like, a time-stamped itinerary.
And I think she wanted everybody to do the same thing, and I'm like,
Mm,
"Okay, it's 15 people. Do you know
mhm.
how hard it is to get 15 people to be anywhere at one time?"
Yep, I do know
Yeah,
how hard that
that's not gonna
is.
happen.
It's wild. Yeah,
Oh.
it's so crazy, but, yeah, I mean, I just, like I love the way you look at like, looking at your kids, reading their behavior, seeing, like, what's what for the day. I think that's really whether you're on vacation or you're at home, like, it's just really good to have this mindset of, like, okay, certain things have to get done, like, kind of the productivity mindset of, like, certain things have to get done, and at the same time, I have different needs, like, some days I feel like doing things, and then other days I don't feel like doing them, and same goes for my kids, like, not every day do they wanna go do exactly what the plan might be, and I think that's really it's hard for us, like, kinda strict type A people to just go along with that, but it really is good, and it's, like, probably the more beneficial way to parent.
I always say I am a type A in recovery
That's so good.
because I really am type A, like, it's there. Like,
Yeah,
I want a plan and I wanna do it that way, but you know how we always talk about the expectations versus reality?
yeah.
I think I've just been let down by my own expectations so many times. That, like, hit rock bottom and was like, "I just can't hold on to the type A anymore. I gotta let it go."
Love it, I love it. I think I have loved seeing some of my friends, and they probably know who they are if they're listening to this. I love seeing, like, my type B friends become parents, and just see what happens. Like for some of them, like they ride it out. Like they are type B all the way, like just cruising, loving it. And then there's some that like have had to become more type A, much more type A, because whether their kids are in foster care or whether they've like walked through a very long adoption or whatever it is, like they have had to become counter to their personality and like
Yeah.
really, really like learn new skills in order to raise their kids. And it's
See,
actually, it's
I
like
think
fun
it's
to
probably
watch.
harder to be type B and have to become type A than to be type A and have to become type B.
I think like in practice, it's probably easier, but like you were saying, like kind of the inside of you, like it's in there somewhere. I feel like that internal, like whether it's the internal dialogue or the mental load or whatever it is, like can be very
That's fair.
heavy, you know, like
Very
it can be,
loud.
yeah, really. I was like loud, heavy, whatever, one of those, something like that.
That inner voice is screaming
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That does take a lot of practice to like silence inner Laura. Like,
Yeah.
shh.
Yeah. Like just sit, just be. Like I have to like literally tell myself that sometimes of like, yeah, just it, you want to be productive and you want to do all these things. Literally right now I have this checklist of the things that need to happen and the things I need to find and whatever before I leave on this trip. But today we were outside in the backyard and sharing popsicles with the neighborhood and swinging
See?
and playing in the water and doing all the things. And like in my head, I'm like, okay, just be here, like just hang out with the kids. All that stuff can happen later. It'll be
Were you
fine.
able to enjoy it?
Yeah, and I really did. I really did. It also is the reason why I've become like more of a night owl and I stay up a lot later at night because I got all these things that are running through my mind that need to
That you wanna
happen. So,
do?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's both ways. Like, we can kind of talk about, like, yes, so on one hand, there's a need. Like, we need to be organized, have systems in place so that we can be productive for our kids, for our
Mhm.
family. Like, that has to happen. Like, it just does. Um, and that, yeah, like we said, there's lots of systems. But on the other hand, our kids also need us to be able to drop productivity and be
Yes.
present. And it is really hard for us type A moms, you know. Um, the type B moms, like, what are you talking about? This is easy. Um, yeah, like it is really hard for someone who like lives off of this productivity high, which is
Mhm.
really what it is. Like, you know, you're getting these like dopamine, you're getting some sort of fulfillment from like checking that list, doing that thing. But the downsides of that are one to yourself, like sometimes we can be so productive that, you know, we can run down our bodies. We're too tired, we get overwhelmed and we don't even realize it. And we're the cause of the overwhelm because we like said that we must paint our nails when that really didn't have to be done. You know what I mean? And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, and then also it can set a precedent for our kids too. Like our kids can be raised in this environment of like, oh, to be happy, to be successful, I have to be doing. And then sometimes we just miss out on like the need. Like and don't get me wrong, like, it is so hard and my eye twitches so much when I'm in the middle of a task and my kid starts, like, arguing or crying because they, like, bumped them, you know, whatever, and I wanna be like, "That is not important. Me finishing these dishes right now, that is important." But,
I
like,
know.
what are we communicating to our kids? Like, is that what we wanna communicate? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's like, ooh, I feel that one deeply of like I want to raise my kids to know like it's okay to rest. It's okay to even be bored and like see where your boredom may lead you, wherever that might be. I call it like putzing. Like sometimes when I'm just like putzing around the house, you know, I'm like, oh, I should like the way I look at it is I'm like, oh, I should wash that window. Oh, I should dust that thing. Oh, I should, you know, like those are the things that I'm like putzing around doing. I would hope that like that translates into kidhood as like you're putzing around and like you find this toy that you couldn't find before and now you play with it and like blah 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 whatever, like different things. But I'm sure it just looks like I'm just doing stuff all the time.
Well, so to be fair, there's some like good things to that too. Like one benefit of doing is that it gives your kids the opportunity to be independent.
Yeah, true.
If you're always available, then they're always going to want to play with you, especially if
Mhm.
they don't have a sibling or something, you know? But so there's like a fine line between like, and they need to learn patience. So, like, there's a fine line between saying, like, I will come play that game with you. I'm going to finish these dishes first, and then I will come play that game with you. Or, like, recognizing a need and saying, okay, today I was eating dinner. My kids had already eaten, and I was eating, and my daughter said, Mommy, come check on me. And that means, like, she's upset and she, like, wants me to come check on her. And I came and checked on her, but I really was like, she's like, well, can you just sit with me? And I was about to be like, no, I'm going to go finish my dinner. I'll come sit with you after. And then I was like, okay, this is more important. This is what microwaves are for, in this moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to make a compromise. I was like, I'm hungry. I need to finish eating. How about I sit with you for 2 minutes and then I go finish my dinner? Like, no, I'm not going to sit with you indefinitely. She wasn't crying or like hurt or anything. Um, yeah, but like you have to find those lines and like set those boundaries too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think that I often tend to do more of the like, let me just get this done and then I'll be free and then I can be, then I can be with you. But I like your compromise. I know you've talked about that before too, of like your kids will say like, let's do a compromise
Yeah.
because they
They
catch on
ask
to
for
the things that we
compromises a
say.
lot.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is funny because now I know their favorite number is 5, so I will purposely say, "You could have 3 of those." And they'll be like, "Can we compromise? Can I have 5?" And I'm like, "Okay, you can have 5." When really I'm like, "I know they're gonna ask for 5, just are you okay with that?" You know?
It's so funny. I love it. They're going to be
I
like good little
know.
negotiators one day when they go buy their first car. They're going to know how to negotiate it.
Only to 5.
Yeah. Just bring it down to
Sometimes you can
5.
even
Just bring it down to 5.
sometimes you could even do the, like, you can have 6, and they'll be like, "But can I have 5?" And I'm like, "Sold."
They'll figure it out one day. When it's like
I know.
dollars and cents, they'll figure it out. That's so funny. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about like I feel like we've talked about like kind of the pros and the cons of productivity. Like we kind of talked about it as we were prepping, like the good and then the evil, like, looking at it. It's like the two little figures on your shoulders,
The
telling you.
angel and the
Yeah,
devil,
the
yeah.
angel and the devil. Um, but yeah, I think like I have noticed something in myself when, especially like we're talking about trips and different things. I used to, I think like especially before kids, I would try to get like the whole house cleaned before we would leave on a trip. Or I'd try to do, like do all these things and I'm like stressing over it. And I become someone like I don't want to be around. So like let
Mhm.
alone my husband and my now children. And then we're about to go on this trip and like make memories together. And it's like that is not the way to start this season of like respite and refreshment or whatever kind of trip you're taking. And so I've like really consciously been aware of that as I like prep for different things. And I think for me, it's like having these systems in place really does equip me to be better and like be kinder and be more patient and like all the different things. Cause I mean, I do have more time now. Like when I was working, it was like, you have from the hours of like 6 to 10 p.m. to like get everything done in your whole life. And so, yeah, I feel like there's more, maybe there's like more margin now to like play with and like try to get things done in like more of a spread out time frame. Um, but yeah, it's still like got to get out of my head, so that the mental load is not as heavy.
Yeah, I think the systems for that are, like, super important. I'm the same way, like, I used to, like, stress out and freak out before vacations trying to get it done. and yeah, it wasn't pleasant to be around. It was putting a lot of pressure on my kids, because I'm like, "I just cleaned that. You can't play." Um, things like that. And I did learn that, like, yes, writing it all down helps. 1, to free the mental load. 2, because then you can divvy out to someone else. Like, if I have it written down, it's much
Mhm.
easier for Greg to see it because I will sometimes print it out or
Mhm.
I'll send it to him in a text or whatever. And then he can see, like, oh, take out the trash. I can do that. You
Mhm.
know, like things there are lots of things on there that are like easier for him to do. Um, Without me having, like, explain. And then the other thing is that, like, sometimes I'll look at the list and I'll be like, "Okay, how can you cut this down?" Like, yeah, like,
What's
okay,
actually
what is
necessary?
yeah, where's your, like, must have, must do, and where's your, like, would be nice if it gets done, and,
Yeah.
move it to a different list so
Yeah.
that way it doesn't feel yeah, and some of it's just practice,
Mm. Do you have like in just kind of your day to day, like if you have something that pops up and you're like, I need to call Dez's doctor because he needs blah blah blah, whatever, something like that. Like you have things that pop up. If you have something like that that comes up, where does it go? Like, do you put it on your calendar? Do you put it in a Google Doc? What do you do?
Depends on when it pops up. I try to do things right away.
Mm.
So if it pops up and my kids are quietly playing or in a different room or something, I'll call the doctor right then.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like, why put it on a list when you can do it? So depending on like how long it's gonna take, if I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will put it in, yeah, like a list on like I do use notes on my phone. Sometimes I transfer it to other things like later. Like notes is just like accessible,
Mm-hmm.
but depending on what it is, I might transfer it to something.
Yeah, there's this app. I feel like I learned about it. I don't know, maybe like in one of my first jobs, my boss used it. It's called Todoist. And so it's like
Yeah.
to-do list without the L. And I like it because you can put a date on, you can put a date on the thing. So if it's like, yeah, follow, like I got a call that the girl's doctor is out of town on the day that they had an appointment, so I need to reschedule it. Well, by the time I listened to the voicemail, it was like 7 p.m. and I can't call the doctor at 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. So I put it in on my Todoist and was like, okay, well, I can't get this done. Like, I can't call tomorrow because they're closed, whatever. So I like can assign a day, like move it to a different day. And sometimes I will look at it and say, like, okay, I can tell like there's too many things on this day. Like, I'm not going to
On
get
the
to all of
day.
them. Yeah. So then I can just like, like just move them around. But it's a good exercise for me to look at and be like, okay, what is a must do? What is a nice to have? Because I'm addicted to productivity and I like want to hear the little ding as I check things off. And so, like there's things like that where it's like, am I just putting it on my list because I want to check it off? Or is it because it really needs to get done? And then how do I move it around to like make it actually work in my life and in my schedule and make sure that I'm having margin for my kids and, all the different things. So
Yeah.
having something like that, I
I
feel
have
like is good.
used something like that before when I was working. Some things like that I would just put on my Google Calendar. But I
Yeah.
will tell you every day when I wake up, like I look at my calendar to see if I have any like appointments or like if there is something big like that I needed to do. And then I like tell myself that day like what are today's to-dos? Like
Mhm.
and it's usually like 2. Like today today I needed to do budget and I wanted to work out. That was it. And then my like want to do but maybe can't get to is to mow the grass. And so I did budget and then this is like how this worked out. So I did the budget and part of that was like I had to go to the bank. So I did budget, took the kids and went to the bank. And then I could tell they had a lot of energy, like, they were playing together, but they were, like, really needing to, like, do something. So I said, "Hey, after we go to the bank, we're gonna go to the playground." And so then we went to the playground, and then we came home, and I've told myself that I'm gonna work out, like, my workout block is when they watch TV, like,
Mhm.
when they have their TV time, because I hate being interrupted when I work out.
Mhm.
And so then Yeah, so then we like and that was not on the to-do list. Like going to the playground was an
Right.
impromptu thing. You know what I mean? And so I do things like that all the time where I'm like, that's how I stay in the present.
That's
Is
good.
I'm like, okay, the only I've already done the budget. The only other thing I have to do today is to work out. I know the kids are going to watch TV today. They watch
Mhm.
TV every day and they won't let me forget.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so I have like spare time here. And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm like, okay, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I think it's like we talk about all the time with the expectations and reality. Like sometimes, even if you're addicted to productivity, your expectations have to be minimal. Like, I mean, imagine one day in your life, like before you had kids, like if you only had two things on your to-do list, you would have done them before 10
Right?
a.m., you know? Like, I mean, it would
Right.
have been done before the day even started. And so, yeah, it's just like seeing that reality looks very different and it will look different like in every stage of our kids' lives. And like when you had visits for LJ and when you had court dates and when you had all these other things, like there were plenty more things that were on the list that had to be done that day to stay in line with all of those things. So, yeah, just knowing like there's different seasons where productivity, the like desire may still be there or not there if that's not you. But like there's like either the desire or the lack of the desire that's always there. But the reality of it just looks really different.
Yeah. No, it's really true. Like the different seasons are so vital to know. And you know, something I was realizing this on my many drives. I was like, I used to be someone that out of a need of productivity, well, and dopamine. Some of this has to do with ADHD and being on meds now. But I kept my cup full all the time and I wanted it full. So I always had like and even like when I was single, like I always had like every second of the day planned.
Hmm.
And I was always like either doing something or working on something or like just whatever. And I did this early in parenting too. And what I found is that like anytime something happened, like my cup would spill over.
Hmm.
And so it was just really hard to operate. And now I keep my cup almost half full. And I actually keep it pretty low. That's why I only put two things on my to-do list, you know? It's why we don't have another dog right now, even though I want another dog, you know? And I have realized that, like, doing that gives me so much of a buffer, and I know that I won't always be able to do that, like,
Yeah.
something's gonna happen and my cup's gonna get 3/4 of the way full, and I'm gonna have to stay there for a little while, and that's
Yeah.
okay, but I at least know, like, "Hey, like, you don't have to live at cup full all the time," you know?
Hmm. Yeah, my cup is full of kids right now. So I don't really have the option of it being half full. Maybe
Well,
when
and
I
I think that's part of it.
yeah, it really is. I think it's
It's like
really
the
good to think
age.
about it. Yeah. It's really good to think about it. Like, I change diapers all day. That's, like, my full cup. Some it's like, keep the diapers in stock. That is the goal, you know? It's like it's crazy. So
But I think then you take that in mind and you're like, "Okay,
mhm.
you know, I'm changing diapers and I've got like children that need me more than older kids. My cup is super full." And then it's like, okay, well then maybe, you know, you're not going to like this. Maybe I don't take that vacation.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
It's
It's so
hard to
true.
do. It's
Mhm.
hard to do. And I still have the like, maybe we should have another kid. Maybe we should move. Maybe we should,
Yeah.
maybe we should get a new dog, you know, but like,
I
then I
know.
try to remind myself, I'm like, "Do you wanna operate there all the time?"
Yeah. I know. That is the reason that we didn't go on our beach trip last year, and we didn't really travel. I mean, we traveled across the country with the girls when they were 37 days old, but that was out of true necessity, not like a planned trip.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we didn't really travel with them like the first year, almost year and a half. Like they're almost a year and a half now. So, yeah, it's definitely and like there might be other seasons that come up where it's like, oh, we were like we have too many things going on or we have to like their needs are different and we don't know what that is going to look like. We can't plan for all of that. So,
There's also something to be said, like, school's about to start.
mhm.
So, like, there's, like, different things too where you can be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fill my cup all the way up right now, but I know it's
Mm.
about to empty."
Yep,
You know what I mean? Like, I
it's
know I'm
true.
gonna get some free time again, a month from now. So, like, I can maintain this for X amount of time.
Yep, it's true.
So
It's true. I know. It'll be nice to have a little bit more, routine that will empty out the cup and kind of fill it at the same time.
exactly, right?
Yeah, that's just how parenting littles goes. That's how it feels.
I think that's parenting all kids.
Yeah, probably. That's true.
Up and down and up and down. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, guys, productivity can be used to protect your family and to the downfall of your family. So
Mhm.
I hope our discussion is helpful, just in, seeing it kind of from both perspectives. And we will be back next week. See you guys. If anything we said today made you laugh, cry, or feel seen, send this episode to another adopted mom who needs it. And don't forget to follow us at Beyond the Home Study on Instagram.
If you've ever found yourself exhausted, overwhelmed, and wondering, why didn't anyone tell me this part of adoption? Don't worry, you're home now.